Are you an established small business owner or aspiring entrepreneur? Would you like professional advice to help your business grow and succeed? Well, look no further. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is the territory's #1 resource to move your business forward. Enjoy no-cost advising, low-cost training, and technical assistance from experts in both the public and private sectors. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Visit us at our locations on St. Thomas, St. John, or St. Croix, and follow us on social media at VISBDC. For easy access to all our training and networking events, be sure to join our newsletter and download the VISBDC app. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, here to help your business start, grow, and succeed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today is the hosting of the VISPDC's Economics of Small Business Startup in collaboration with our VBOC Center of Puerto Rico and the USVI. Now, let's talk about why we are here today. When we think about launching a business, it is incredibly easy to get swept up in the excitement of the brand, the logo, or the perfect product line. But as the saying goes, the economic model is where the rubber meets the road. Understanding your numbers, your cost structures, and your revenue streams isn't just about survival. It is ultimately a key source of competitive advantage. Knowing how your business makes, keeps, and reinvests money is what separates a passion project from a sustainable, scalable enterprise. Today, we are going to discuss those economics so you can build a rock solid foundation for your business. My name is Sharika Industrious Phillips, and I am the Network Marketing Coordinator here at the VISPDC. To help us navigate this, I am honored to introduce our presenter for today. Retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Juan Marrero joined the VBOC Region 2 team in April 2019 as outreach specialist to provide business training, counseling, and mentoring to veteran entrepreneurs in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Juan is bilingual in English and Spanish and brings a unique skill set and familiarity to the population he serves in the region as they start or grow their own small business. Juan was an active duty service member for 22 years. He has an extensive training background, skills as a highly qualified professional in the manufacturing industry, and experience providing ERP or enterprise resource planning services such as software testing, production support, training, and solutions implementation. One completed a technical degree in computer and network repair AutoCAD from the Universal Technology College of Puerto Rico and studied chemistry at the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. Here's a friendly reminder to place your questions in the chat, and they will be addressed by the presenting team either directly in the chat or later during our question and answer segment. A copy of today's presentation will be attached to the post survey email sent after this live session. We encourage you to take a few minutes of your time to briefly fill out that survey that lets us know how we are doing. This data is essential to us rendering these deliverables complimentary to you. So without further ado, Juan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sharika. Appreciate the time and the opportunity to see our veterans getting together and teach this class about the economics of a startup. That's so important because we always looking at the big picture. How do I get capital? How do I get money for my business? But the very important things is within your business, what we're gonna do with that money, how we're gonna create a structure that's gonna take care of that money that's coming in. Okay, and that's something that we never talk about, and that's one of the first issues that as a business owner you're gonna encounter. And if you don't take care of it right away, believe me, it's going to be a lot of trouble. Okay, so we're going to start right away, thanking all our veterans for your service, the time that you spend in the military. And if you start active duty, I know how it is. I spent 22 years as an active duty in Germany, Texas, Puerto Rico, Korea, you name it. Went to those conflicts, and I know the sacrifice that we go through. And now that we're out, or we're thinking about going, away from the military, it's very important that you understand that we are here for you. This is something that's paid with your service. This a lot of people tell me it's free, and it's not free. You already pay for it. Okay. Thank you for your service, and let's start right away. Okay, with the economics. Let me get out of the video so you can concentrate on my class. So I want you to think about have as a family. As a morning, you have a family, and you always talk about getting a budget
Sorry to interrupt, but
to
we're
your
not.
money. Do the same thing in the business. We have to do it the same thing. We have to get our finances together. Yes. Say again.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up, so we didn't really hear the end of your introduction. Did you turn off your cameras yet?
Yeah, turn it off.
Okay, great. So maybe that's going to improve the sound. So you could go ahead and share again so we can see the PowerPoint and hopefully we can continue to hear you clearly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Am I sharing now?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, it disconnected. I was disconnected, then it connected again. My
Okay.
apologies. Let me see if
No
you
problem.
let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen and we can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, perfect. So thank you very much. Okay, so Boost to Business is module 4. If you have the opportunity to one day take the whole Boost to Business, that we're doing it here weekly, but we can do this in one day. And we have 8 modules, and like I said, module number 4 for me is so important. Is my favorite module because we're gonna talk about the internal economics of your business. That's so important. Okay, he's gonna be your objectives. Okay, is to understand the foundation for the cost, price, volume relationship as informs profit potential and sustainability that the planned venture. So very important over here is telling you, most of the time we have issues within our business. And it's these 3 things right here is that you need to balance the cost, price, and volume of your product, whatever you're gonna be selling, right? So how much it cost me to produce it? How much it cost me to create it? Then how much is gonna be the price that you're gonna sell it for? And then how many do I need to sell to be able to cover all the costs and everything that I need to pay within my business? So this right here is the key of your success. You need to create that balance. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no book, there's no manual, there's no instructions that actually tells you how to do this. You need to work with a mentor, somebody that's done this before, okay? And trying to get this formula right from the very beginning, okay? So here's the agenda. We're going to be talking about economic model of a business, revenues, volumes, margins, operating leverage, and the implication for risk. So here's the key in a very big summary. Okay. So you have to understand your business model. So when you get to your economic model, you can be profitable. Okay. So very clear right here, your business model is how the business, that's you, okay, how the business creates and delivers value to the customer. That the word value, it has nothing to do with money, okay? So that value that you're trying to create and deliver is is the value that the customer needs to create for your business, okay? So it's gonna be like they're gonna need this. Okay, so I go buy your product because I need it, because I want it. So that's the value that you need to create. That's not easy to do. Okay, this is something that takes time. This is something that takes a strategy, and us in in the SBDCs, VBOX, women business, and we take you by the do this. So for me to get value, so my customer comes back to me. Now you need in the form of an economic return to make money, no doubt. Okay, we need to put it together and think about it. You know, okay, I open my business because I'm very passionate about it, or whatever. But at the end of the story, we're here to make money. So let's go back to the business model. You need to create and deliver that value so the client continue to buy your product or your service. And one time we create and deliver that value, then we capture that value into economic return. Okay. So that's very important. That's the base. That's the foundation of the economics of a startup. Okay. So why is this important? Because if you create that value, it will help you to build sustainable competitive advantage. Because you know now the client's coming. Why? Because you created that value. They need your product. They want your product. So talking about the competition, they will be behind because you're already ahead. Okay. It will inform you for management decisions. Are you going to what we call you see the you you so
What?
you need to change a
Sorry to interrupt.
few things, inventory and everything
Can you hear me, Juan?
growing because all right, I'll provide you now you have yes.
Yeah, we couldn't make out what you were saying because yeah, I guess the service, the bandwidth is probably low.
I got you loud
So from closing on the models, yeah, we missed some of that content.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm disconnecting for some reason. I disconnected again.
Okay.
I hate this. Okay, sorry. Okay, so to finish with the economic model and business model is that the key right here is the creation of the and deliver the value product. Okay, and then you can capture that and in economic return. So that's the foundation of the economics of your startup. You need to create this foundation so you can start building up. Okay, so next this helps you because it's gonna build a sustainable competitive advantage because you're gonna have clients coming back to you. So your competition is gonna be behind, believe me, because you created that value. Okay, it's gonna inform you of management decisions because here, as your business is gonna start growing, you're gonna have to change things about your production, inventories, and whatever it takes to the growth of your business. And it provides stability and consistency within the business. The key right here is I don't want you to get in the cycle of moving money. Okay, we are in the business of making money, and you have a lot of what you might call it. You have a lot of businesses. They get into the moving money. And what is moving money? That you're making very little. Little of what you're moving a lot of products. You're doing a lot of sales, but when I look at your net income is very low. So we need to work on that and moving money and start making money. So we do this with the balance that I said before between cost, price, and volume. Okay. So we're going to be talking about the economic model of a business. There are four elements that are very, very important: your revenue drivers, your margins, your volumes, and your operating leverage. Okay. So revenue drivers, what are revenue drivers? They are your product. It's what you're selling. So you need to know and you need to understand how many ways do your company earn money. Why? Because when you open a business, the very important part in the beginning is that the business needs to take care of its own. So you make enough money for the business to pay all the costs, all the variable costs, all the fixed costs. Okay, so it's very important that you understand that from the very beginning. Your first goal as a business owner when you open the doors, your first goal is to make sure that your company takes care of its own. Okay, how many revenue drivers do you need? One product, two products, three products? That depends. Okay, we're gonna do a lot of analysis. We're gonna do a lot of research to see how much do you need to sell a month to be able to pay your cost of operating leverage and your cost of fixed costs and variable costs within a month because we need to get to that what we call break even, and the break even point is when your business can take care of its own and it pays for all the costs. Okay, if this is advantage or disadvantage, it is an advantage to realize and understand in the very beginning of the life of your business how much do you need monthly to operate your business. Okay, because we don't want to spend 2, 3, 4, 5 months in the negatives because the business is not making enough money to take care of itself. Okay, and that's very very dangerous because then you need to get money for that, get a loan, maybe your savings. I mean, and this being in the negative is no joke. So we need to, from the very beginning, I like to talk to the client, talk to the veterans, and do those projections. We need to estimate how many months I'm gonna be in the negatives until I break even. Okay, here's an example about the business model and economic model from Starbucks. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They are the masters of this. Their business model, they capture and deliver the product. Okay, a lot of people think their product is coffee, but it's not really coffee. It's just one of the products. So they have many revenue drivers. Okay, that's something you need to understand. How many revenue drivers do you need to make your business successful? Okay, so in this case, we're gonna have Starbucks that they sell. I would say, oh my God, let's talk about the coffee. They get a cup of coffee. Okay, they pay 35 cents for the coffee, for the cup, for the sugar. Okay, because why? Because they buy in high volumes. All right, so and they sell it for a minimum of $3. So the gain, okay, the revenue that they're getting from that coffee is ridiculous, real high. Okay, so you need to start thinking about that right now. Okay, your cost needs to be very little, but you need to be very careful when you pay for your product. The cost of it, how to make it. You need to be careful not to compromise, for example, quality. All right, because the customers want quality. So you gotta be careful. So in your business model, when you're trying to deliver, to create and deliver that value, you gotta be very, very strategic in how you pay little, then sell it in a higher price and a big volume. That's what they do. That's what Starbucks are so great in create revenue. Okay. Another example, we have Nissan and we have Porsche. Okay, over here is talking what does this mean for the economic model. All right, so I remember the economic model is when you're ready in your business model, you create it and you deliver value to the customer. Okay, so the economic model is how you get that value and change it to an economic return. All right, so for me, Porsche are the kings of this. They're trying to sell your car that does pretty much the same thing that the Versa. And what I mean pretty much the same thing. All right. But they created something like very can you hear me, Sharika? I just gotta
Loud and clear.
okay, good. I had a warning of my internet being low. Okay, so Porsche, they capture that value, right? And in economic model, it's very hard to do what they do. Look at the differences between prices in these two cars. But Porsche has a big market. Okay, a big market of people buy Porsche because
Okay, Juan, we're losing you again. We don't hear
sport
you.
car.
Hello? Juan, can you hear me? Alrighty, so everyone online, we just want to ask for some patience as the instructor gets back on, connected so we can be able to hear him loud and clear. Juan, are you there?
Oh,
I can see that you're back, but we can't hear you at the moment.
yeah. Hello, hello.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, sorry. It gets like every 5 minutes or so I disconnect.
Okay.
Okay, so next we next we're gonna be talking about the difference between price and cost. Okay, so it's the margin. It's called the margin. And as a business owner, you need to find a way to create the largest margin between these two elements, the price and the cost. Okay. Price is what you charge for your product or service. Okay. And just remember this, when you're talking about price, it's a lot of different things involved in this number. Okay, is the whatever you put into it, if you create it yourself, so that those hours you spend putting this thing together. Okay, how you deliver it, how you distribute it, how you pack the packaging, etc., everything is included in that price. So we need to do that research. Okay, and how we gonna come up with a price. I got a lot of people that come to me and say, hey Juan, how do I price my product? I said, well, let's sit down and find out how much it costs to create it, how much work you put into it. Okay, and then you see how the market receives it. Okay, how much it costs to deliver one single unit of your product. We need to actually deliver. We need to analyze that. Why? Because we need to see how many products you need to sell monthly to be able to pay the cost of your business. Okay, so the difference between price that you charge and the cost of production, okay, at the end of the story is that I need to have profit. So you cannot be selling a product losing money. The main thing about your business, I remember I told you, that is making money. So when we do the analysis and we see how much it costs and how much we're gonna price it, then we're gonna create that margin and we're gonna see how much we're gonna make. Okay. Here's another example. You got Walmart and you got Nordstrom. Okay. Nordstrom is a very high scale type of store. Okay. They work with designers and they're very strict about the quality of their merchandise. Walmart is all about volume. All right. But at the end of the story, again, it's like Porsche and Nissan. It's not like one is more powerful than the other, or whatever. They both make great money. They're very good companies. But Nordstrom has to go the extra mile to capture their market, okay, because they're very expensive. Right? Walmart, like I said, it's not like super cheap, because Walmart is not a very cheap place either. But their key is their volume. They like to sell volumes and volumes. So, but when you concentrate on volume and you're talking to your providers, okay, your suppliers, you can negotiate with your suppliers because you're buying so much. Okay, so that's what Walmart they're very great at it, right? But Nordstrom is not they're making less money because they're selling so much expensive, so more expensive. So okay, So here's what I'm talking about. The volume is the number of unit of product of service that you are selling or providing. Okay. So they need to do with the margin. It's meaningless unless you discuss it along with margin, because I need to know how much I'm making per unit, and that way I need to know how many do I need to sell to be able to have profit. Okay. High volume alone, like it says right here, is meaningless unless you keep something from each sale. Okay, the key. You need to keep something from each sales to make money. You cannot be losing money or even breaking even in a sale. You need to always go in the positive side, right? Now we're going to be talking about your costs. You got variable costs and fixed costs. So variable costs is like direct labor, payroll taxes, cost per employee, mileage, packaging, etc., etc. So it's something you had to pay every month, all right? But they're variable. They can be a little more than this month. They can be a little maybe less next month. They never the same every month. That's why they call them variable. But because they're variable, that doesn't mean they're optional. Okay, that means you have to pay it, but you can negotiate and you can manipulate this cost a little better than fixed. Because in fixed right here, there's something that every month is the same, and you have to pay every month. If you don't pay it every month, you have to close your business. Okay. So we have variable cost and we got fixed cost. Variable, we are able to manipulate and negotiate. Fixed, we don't. All right. And I'm gonna explain to you why this is so important. Variable and fixed. I'm gonna tell you at the very end of the presentation why this is so important. Okay, so what do you think about utility bills? Utility bills nowadays is something that if you don't pay for example, your electricity, you have to close your business. Okay, they cut they cut your electricity, you're done. Okay, so for me, electricity is very important. Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, electricity cost is up to chart. I mean, it's very expensive, but it's something that we cannot allow to be taken away because we had to close the business. So I always I categorize the utility bills in the fixed column. Okay, I put them in the fixed. It has to be paid. Very important. Okay. Here's the famous break even. I spoke in the very beginning of the presentation. I was talking about it. So this is your first milestone. As a business owner, when you open your door, this is the first thing you need to concentrate. All right. Why? Because you start in the bottom left. You're gonna open your doors and you're gonna go towards your right, all the way until you get to the break even. There's not a formula to tell you this, how long it's gonna be. This is something that we need to come up with a strategy. This is something that we got to put together ourselves and to help you out. But the closest that break even is to the left, the better, because you see that word is lost. You don't want to lose money. You don't want to be in the negative. So we need to go, you need to get to the break even as soon as possible. Okay. One time you get to the break even, then you see that green profit line. That's how you start making money. And it's that cone, it gets bigger and bigger. All right. So it's very important that you understand that the first milestone as a business owner is to hit that break even. Okay. Here's another example. You got Starbucks and you have a kiosk, a coffee place, right? So I'm not saying that you have to compete with Starbucks as a kiosk owner, okay? But something that you need to understand. The competition is not so much about it's the competition, okay? You compete for the space. Remember this. Or when when I get into an industry and I open a new business, all I'm asking is a little competitive space for me to compete. As you're gonna end up in Eureka, I just got the little sign that is gonna disconnect. You don't hear me no. That you understand that as a kiosk owner, you're a small business owner, you're competing with a big company. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You need to get it yours. So that's why that all you need, okay, within the here's an example that I always you see the number you how to start and deal with the economy. So I'm gonna open a business, a coffee shop, and I'm gonna be selling coffee per cup. Okay, I go 6 month. That will be 6,400 every.
Juan, can you hear me? We have a question. Oh, he fell off. Okay, let's just give it a few. We lost connection with our presenter. He should be back on shortly.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back. And we actually have a question in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good morning. I have a few questions. What are some startup financing programs that are available for veterans?
Okay, that's a good question. Right now, we always look for grants for veterans, and the grants are not coming from the SBA, for example. I'm a resource for I'm a SBA resource, and normally we when we start giving these classes, this mentoring, we start looking for. And that's another class is like, it's going to be the how financially stable I am as a business owner. So we start is different ways to get the money for your business. We start always with personal savings, family money, credit card, bank loans. That's how we start. So I know that's much is not what you're looking for. So as of right now, we don't have funding from the VA for veterans. Okay, every now and then we see grants coming in, 3,000, 4,000, $5,000 to to help the veterans to open their business. But there's not a dedicated funding for veterans to open their business. So to get so I hope I answered the question. But I don't know. It's something that in every class everybody asks. But we don't have a dedicated funding for veterans. We don't. Any more questions? Okay. Hear me? Sure.
So thanks for that
Okay.
answer. The person said that the question was answered.
Okay. So what? Uh, okay. Perfect. Okay. So okay, variable cost. So I'm paying 2008. I have 4,300 plus. So I paid my fixed cost and it's 4,320. So my net profit for this month, my first month, is zero. Okay. So I tell you this: zero is a reason to celebrate. Why? Because you broke even first month. I don't need to take a loan. I don't need to do anything else because my business the first month. So this is the reason why changes because now that I'm breaking even, now I want to make more money. So what I do, I increase volumes. So instead of 3,200, I'm gonna go to 4,000 units sold every month. From 6,000 something a month, now I'm up to $8,000 a month. $8,000 a month for a very good. Now I gotta pay my costs, variable costs the same, fixed costs are the same, but now at the very end I have a profit. Okay, I have a net profit of 180. right? That's excellent. For the first time, I'm seeing a positive in my correct direction. So I need to make some changes. As a business owner, I'm gonna do is I'm gonna raise the price a quarter in my because I need more from my suppliers. So you better negotiate with your vendors to make sure you get two or three cents here, 5 cents there. You bring that down. So now that $400 that I had to pay, I paid the same for my fixed income for 2,280. So that's what business ownership is all about. You need to negotiate. You need to push to get that profit going. Okay. So at the end, I do something very important. You see that yellow column where it says car lease payment? If I go back to the one before, that was $750. Okay. That was $750. So I paid off my car lease payment. And now at the end, I had 3,000. We see you as a new business owner develop. Okay. So believe me, it's something that we all go through. The main thing is learn to start small, please. Learn to start small and start growing. It's nothing worse than start big and then you gotta drop. Okay. So that's the example on how to develop. Okay. So this is a little chart how we started. Okay. And previous month we start going to the break even. Then after the break even, we start doing profits. Okay. So that takes me about operating leverage. Operating leverage is the relationship between your variable cost and your fixed cost. So it's very important that you understand that we recommend for you to work in the higher variable cost model. Okay. What that means that your operating leverage is going to be low. It's going to be low. So in other words, I need you to have more variable cost than fixed cost. Why? Because if you have variable costs, you can manipulate, you can negotiate those costs a little better. If you have more fixed, there's no space to negotiate. There's no space to manipulate. Okay, so we need to start small. Okay, we need to start in a higher variable cost model. I need you to have a lot of cost in the variable side. Here's the implication about the operating leverage. A high operating leverage, you got greater risk. It takes more units to of service each month to break even. But once you break even, you start making more money, okay? Because you started big, right? But the beginning is going to be very stressful. And the other side, your variable cost is less risk, and you're going to take less units or less services of your products to break even. Okay. So these 5 questions we need to ask before you open your doors. Okay. How will I generate sales dollars revenue? So we talk about your revenue drivers, remember? So how many revenue drivers do I need to make money? Enough money to pay for all the costs. Okay. I need to, in the beginning, what are my total sales related costs to do that? Okay. I need to know how much my business needs to operate. Okay. Then you need to divide it. What are my fixed operating costs to run my business for a given period of time? So how much do I need to pay to be able to run a month, for example? Okay. How much sales revenue must I generate to cover all my costs so I begin to show a net profit? That last part of that sentence. So I begin to show a net profit. That's what it's all about. Okay. You need to sell to make money. Okay. Then the last question, they said, based on my research and analysis, can I generate the needed sales dollars and manage to these expenses to my proposed business venture to actually have a sustainable, profitable business? That's the end story of the whole process. is to have a profitable and sustainable business. Okay, make sure that whatever you're going to sell is on demand. Okay, make sure when you do anything that in your business is something that it will sell, has demand. Very important. Okay, so so the key takeaways is the four elements that we discussed. Your revenue drivers, how many do you need to be able to cover all the costs in your business? The margins, this margin that you're going to create to make sure you make money. Okay, volumes, how many units you need to sell, and your operating leverage. Always start small. Operate in a low operating leverage. Believe me, you're gonna remember this. When you open your business and you open your doors for the first time, the higher stress you operating in the high operating leverage is gonna get to you. Is gonna get to you. So please start small, because the great thing about starting small is always pays to improve. It's always pays to grow. And I've seen it happen. You know, I have a few clients that started big, then we had to help them to go back small. That's very depressing. So please, are you operating leverage? Start small. Okay. So any questions?
Yes, we have several in the chat. Hello, thank you for
Perfect.
today's workshop. I really appreciate all the information you've shared. I have a quick question. Where can we go to get help reviewing and improving our business plan?
Great question. So first, if you're in the Virgin Islands, the closest people you have to help you with your business plan, to improving your business plans, is talk to Sharika and the SBDCs in the Virgin Islands. You got right there. Next step, you got me. You got VBOC. We're in Puerto Rico, but we are online. Okay. I'm going to give you my information at the end, and we can do virtually, and we can help you with the creation, development, and improving your business plan. So anything that you need, you have it with the SBDCs, or you have it with us in the VBOC. And another organization is the Women Business Centers. There are three in Puerto Rico. The one is in San Juan, another one is in Gurabo, and the other one's in Ponce, in Maya West. I'm sorry, Maya West. So you got three women business centers. Even though the women business centers, they take men too. So they started as a women only, and now they take women and men. So there's no reason for you not to develop your business centers, because you get three organizations. We'll do it for free, okay? Because you already paid for this. So I hope you make the next step and contact the SBDCs, the VBOC, or the Women Business Centers.
Thank you for that. And someone else asked, wouldn't you be able to budget more efficiently with the fixed cost model? Or maybe I am confusing
Okay.
cost versus expense.
No. That's a great question. Um, the thing is, because the class is focused in the fixed cost being like a primary thing that you have to take care of. Okay, but you're correct. You need to concentrate in the fixed cost. Why? Because it's something that you have to pay every month without negotiating, without manipulation of the numbers. And if you don't, you have to close your business. But variable is not optional. So the only difference right here is you cannot concentrate 100% in the fix and let the variables to see how we're going to do that later. No. So it will be more effective if you take care of both. Okay, not just the fix. So you take care of the both. I'm always when I talk to the clients, honestly, my approach is to see them both as a fixed. If we can take care of variable and fixed cost, seen as a fixed, perfect. That's what I'm looking for. But if remember, the variable give you the option to be able to negotiate. So it's an easier way to deal with that cost. But you are correct. Your question is not a bad question. It will be more efficient if you concentrate in the fixed. Any more questions?
No questions, just comments saying thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say that my apologies. The thing it's my the internet it wasn't working properly today. That really drives me crazy. Okay, I have my own business of technology, and as a technology person, I see this not working properly, and it's driving me crazy. So my sincere apologies, because for us veterans, we want quality service, and I want to give you the best quality class that you can get. But my information, my email address is Juan Marrero at outlook.com. Very easy. Juan Marrero all together. And I'm going to type it in the chat. And if you have any questions, you don't have to register with VBOC or anything like that. If you have any questions, just feel free to send me an email, and I will come to you right away. We are available pretty much Monday to Friday. I have my own office at home. We have an office in Atorrey in San Juan. If you guys in the area, but just feel free to send me an email if any questions. One more time, I want to thank the SBDCs in the Virgin Islands. I want to thank Sharika with the opportunity every week to get this approach and this knowledge to our veterans and spouses. Thank you very much for the last time, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Sharika.
Thank you, Juan. And speaking of veterans and spouses, Juan is here apologizing for technical difficulties, but he's not letting us know how dedicated he is because last year, this day was his wedding day, and he had a session with us because he's that committed to making sure our veterans are taken care of. And today is his 1 year anniversary. So, Juan, we want to wish you a happy anniversary and thank you so much for your service, dedication, and time.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Alrighty. With that being said, um, the VI SPDC has so much more in store. The comments is going crazy. Happy anniversary, Juan.
Thank you. Thank you.
The VI SPDC has so much more in store for USVI small businesses. You can visit our website at www.vispdc.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to the VISBDC YouTube channel for uploads of our webinars. We encourage you to download the VISBDC app from the appropriate app store. And I do want to segue into our website so I can show you how you can view this webinar when it's pre-recorded. So I'm going to share my screen. The comments are going crazy. Happy anniversary, Juan. I hope you've seen all the love everybody's sharing.
Thank you.
So this is the SPDC website. And with regards to events, we want you to go to trainings. Go to that drop down that says events. And when you click there, this is how you get to the registration portal. And so when you end up on this page, if you would like to see something that has happened in the past, it's still available to you. And what you would do is pay attention to the event type, select on demand, make sure center is also everything populates for you. And when you hit search, these are all the sessions you can go back and you can watch the pre-recorded format, and we can send you a copy of the presentation or connect you to the presenter if you need that. So with what's to come, let's go and take a look here. Select live, make sure center is all. So Monday, June 22nd at 2 p.m., we are going to have the final session of our Business Resiliency webinar series, Navigating the Unexpected, the Business Resiliency and Survival Experience. On June 24th, we have VISPDC advisor Liza Margolis. She's going to be presenting Digital Marketing 101, Boost Your Business Visibility on a Budget. On June 25th, VBOC returns. It's going to be Thursday. Their webinars always start at 10 a.m. And so we are going to be focusing on the introduction to business planning. And then on June 26th, we have Mr. Langley Shazar, and he's going to be focusing on Fire Yourself as CEO, how to stop firefighting and start future building. So you can go ahead and register for those in advance, and then we hope to see you then. Juan, I hope you're seeing the comments. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. So I want to
Awesome.
say,
Thank
on
you.
behalf of the entire VISBDC network, it's always a pleasure to collaborate with VBOC on this initiative. Juan, thank you so much. And so to everyone here, thank you for your time and attendance. And compliments of our State Director, Ms. Karen Jones. We wish you a productive rest of day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.